Alright, so now that we have the IK handles on, we can start, creating the actual rig. So what I want to have happen is when this moves, I want the IK handle to follow. Alright, and that just makes for a nicer animation. And including that, when I rotate this, I might want this this arm to rotate or maybe move with it as well. So we'll give that a little bit of functionality there. And then when we rotate that clavicle, we want the clavicle to move with it too. So we'll do that as well. Okay, so let's. This is just going to be the arm setup. So to start, let's go ahead and grab that IK handle. Let's make it a little bigger so we can see it. I'm going to go to Display, Animation, IK handle size, and if we bump that up, we can see it a lot better. There it is there, that little crosshair. Okay. So I want it so when I move this, this has to move with it. So to do that, we're going to use this thing called a constraint, and this is a point constraint. So point constraints basically follow position. So to make it work, you're going to grab the controlling object. In this case, it's this hand controller. Then I'm going to hold Shift and then grab the IK handle, release Shift. That says that the circle's the boss and the IK handle is what's following. So now I'm going to go up here to Constraint, Point, Options. And the center points are exactly on top of each other, so this has no effect, this maintain offset, but just in case it's not, I like to turn it on. What that means is that if they're a little bit apart, they'll still follow as if they were together. Okay, I'll add that. And there we go. So now when I grab this circle, I hit W, I can move it, and it's going to move the IK handle with it. Let's do the same to the other side. So I'm going to go over here. Let's grab the circle first. I'm going to hit Q so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to hold Shift and grab the IK handle second, release Shift, and we're going to go Constrain, Point, and if you want to double check, make sure Maintain Offset's on here. Okay, great. So now when I move, that moves. When I move the other side, that moves. We don't have any elbow controls, but it looks pretty good so far. Now the only downside is that if I go to rotate it, well, nothing happens. So at this point, I want to put in a rotation. The thing that we're going to rotate is we're going to rotate the controller, and we want this hand to rotate with that controller. So in this example, we're going to be using an Orient Constraint. Okay, it works the same way. I'm going to grab the controlling object first. In this case, it's the left hand controller. Then I'm going to hold Shift and grab the bones here. Any of these bones are fine. They're all the same one. So I'm going to grab this one here. If you want to check it out, I'm going to hover over the outline or press F. It's the hand L bone. Hand L bone. Okay, so with all that selected, I'm going to go to Constrain, Orient Options. Okay, now this time we do have to turn on Maintain Offset because this has a different orientation than this. You can see they're slightly different, right? So if we turn on Maintain Offset, it ensures that they are assuming each other's rotation. Okay, so I'll do this again. Controlling object first, then the hand bone. I'm under Constrain Orient Options, and just make sure Maintain Offset's on. Okay, I'll deselect it, grab it. When I rotate, hand's going to follow. Do the same to the other side. I'm going to grab the controlling object, hold Shift, grab the hand bone, release Shift, Constrain Orient Options, and make sure Maintain Offset's on. Okay, it looks pretty good so far. So now I can translate and I can rotate. So that's pretty nice. The other thing I want to do is actually add the ability for my elbow to change direction. So if I move this up, I want this elbow to basically follow it. Okay, so that's pretty easy. All we do is we grab the controlling object again, hold Shift and grab the IK handle, release Shift, and now we're going to go up to Constrain, down to pull vector. We could just go to the button. The only thing in the options for it is the weight, like how much does it affect, and we want 100%, so we'll just leave that alone. Again, controlling object, then the pull vector, then the IK handle, constrain, pull vector. Now, we saw a little bit of a pop there, right? A little bit of a pop, about that much. So I'm going to undo that. The best way to know how to fix this is to make a copy, right? So that way we can, if we make a copy of this and it goes out of whack, all we have to do is line it up with the original, with the copy. So I'm going to grab both arms, both shoulders right here. I'm going to hit Control D, and then I'm going to hit Shift P, and that brought them entirely out of the list. Right? If I isolate them here, you can see them. See that? So these are just copies. So I'm actually going to rename them here too. Let's name them references. References. Reference. Same with the other side. Reference. That makes it easier to line it up if things go out of whack when you're doing your pull vectors. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing now. Watch this. I'm going to grab the elbow vector, hold shift, grab the IK handle, release shift, constrain, pull vector. Now it popped way over to alignment again, and you can see how far it went. But the cool thing is, now all we have to do is grab the IK handle, and then we can go into this twist value. So I'm going to click on the word twist, hover back over the empty area here, and middle click and drag, and I want to line these back up. If you hold Control and Shift, that's the smaller increments, so you can really get precise. Let's do this in the front view. Tap spacebar, turn off my grid, and I'm just going to zoom right in there. I have the IK handle selected, twist selected, and Control Shift, middle click and drag, and I'm going to just line it up the best I can. Good. That side's great. I'm going to do the same to the other side. Okay, I already copied the reference arm. So let's grab the right elbow vector, hold shift, grab the IK handle, release shift, constrain pull vector. It popped out. Pretty easy fix. I'm going to grab that pull vector, or the IK handle. I'm going to take this twist value and just drag it back down. You check out the front view, pretty close. Okay, looks great. Now it's pretty much on the money. There are other ways of doing this, but that's just a really efficient, nice way of doing it. Now what we're going to do is grab those reference bones, these two, and I'm just going to delete them. They were just there to line things back up and be accurate about it. So now, when we move this, it follows. We can rotate it, and we can also grab our pull vectors and change where our elbows are.